The NBA and FIBA have yesterday announced their joint exploration of a new professional men's basketball league in Europe that would bring the sport to more European fans and accelerate the game's growth across the continent, according to the press release. BJ, what are your thoughts on this European league? It says that franchises will be placed in major city, maybe PSG in Paris get one. London, they've looked at. Manchester City have got a lot of money. They're going to have franchises here. They won't be playing in the NBA. It will be a separate league. And the NBA will own 50% of all the teams. Teams will be valued at around 500 million apiece. But what are your thoughts on it?
I've been watching this since the 90s, this globalization, I should say, of the NBA. And this is not surprising. I think eventually it was bound to happen, since the 92 Olympics when the NBA at that time was Commissioner David Stern began the globalization of the NBA game in particular. So I think this is just continuing. You see it with Commissioner Adam Silver. The game is continuing to expand and look for new emerging markets and new opportunities. And I think it's inevitable that this was going to happen. You can look at our league now, and I say our league. You can look at the league, the NBA, and if you begin to look at the rosters and pay attention to that, over a quarter of the players now are international players. So this move should not be surprising. It's just a reflection of where the game is going. It's truly now a global game. This is the direction in which we were going. This is the direction in which this all started. So, when you look at the MVPs of the last 6 or 7 years now, they've all been international players.
Mm-hmm.
And this year will be no exception. When I say, there will be no exception. So here we are. Now it's truly a global game. That was the idea. This should be no surprise for many of us who've been watching this happen for so long. Yeah, it's news, but wasn't that the goal? That was the goal.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and here's what we're doing. So I think it's going to be great for the league from this standpoint. The NBA game now, the NBA game is the only game that was played in the NBA.
No way.
So what? No, well, think about this, Mo. Think about this. Now, you have FIBA rules, which are different rules.
Yes.
You have collegiate basketball, NCAA, there are different rules. You have high school that's here. You have AAU. You have all these different versions of the game of basketball. Now, we have two baskets and we have a ball. That's the only similarity. The games are totally different. Now, what's fascinating to me is now that we're calling it NBA Europe, I was looking at the press release. My immediate question was, are they playing by NBA rules or are they playing by FIBA rules? Because if the goal is to highlight NBA, at what point will the rest of the world begin to be exposed to the game by NBA rules? That has been the most fascinating thing to me. And the reason I say that is because here in America, we traditionally have gone to college for 2, 3, 4 years before entering into the NBA. Now the players aren't staying in college for that length of time. And now what you're seeing, there's been a shift. The international players who are playing by FIBA rules for an extended amount of time, 2, 3, 4 years, when they get to the NBA, it appears to be that they're more prepared now than the domestic players. It appears to me that the international game translates better to the way the game is being played in the NBA currently now because they've changed all the rules. The NBA game is more similar now to the FIBA game, which it was a totally different game in the previous generation. Hand checking, and so forth and so on. So now it's NBA Europe. I'm interested to see the coaching aspect of this. Are they going to begin to play by NBA rules? Are they going to maintain FIBA rules? Or it's going to be some type of mixture or hybrid of both? And if it is, how's that going to affect the teaching of the game now that the NBA has influence in Europe
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the world? So I'm fascinated about the teaching of this new formed partnership that clearly FIBA and the NBA had to talk about and what that's going to look like to the coaching of the game. So I think in the next 15 years or so, or yeah, probably about, it's going to probably take a generation or two, what that's going to look like and how they're going to teach the game.
Mm.
Because outside of the NBA, who else is who else is more qualified to teach the NBA game other than people who participated in the NBA? It's not taught anywhere else in the world other than here. Think
Yeah.
about that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't play in London by NBA rules, right? Just like we don't play FIBA rules when we
Yeah.
go to the park.
When I go
So
to the
I'm
park, there ain't no rules.
yeah, so I am interested to see the teaching aspect moving forward for the rest of the world and what that's going to look like and who's going to emerge as the leader in that.
Mm.
Because now the NBA is basically saying the following: we are entering into youth sports.
Mm.
That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, the
And they're doing
development
it
system is
globally.
going to be real
Yes.
interesting to see how they
So
do
I
it.
am fascinated by this move.
Yeah.
And I know they made the thing, the NBA Europe, they're going to have teams. But what they're really saying is we are partnering with their partners,
FIBA.
FIBA, Nike, and all of these people to come in and have influence now on youth sports and what that's going to look like. So I am very, very interested with this move because it's literally going to affect how the game is going to look globally. And this to me is a major, major move. They kind of just said it and didn't explain it. But
Hmm.
I've been following this very closely because I'm very interested on the teaching of the game. And the reason being is because if you want a better student, you have to give them better teachers. So I think this will be an enormous opportunity for youth coaches to really emerge here and have influence and be very impactful on what the game is going to look like. Because there's some kid right now that's 8, 9, or 10 years old that could be exposed to the NBA rules if they go in that direction at a much earlier age.
Mm.
Because our generation, for instance, the first time that I participated in an NBA, an NBA event was after I was drafted in the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this could be now you're talking about giving a 9-year-old or 10-year-old maybe an opportunity to play by NBA rules, potentially at a much earlier age, which would speed up the process,
Yeah.
provided that's the direction they go in. So this could be good. I'm
Yep.
looking forward to it, and we'll see what it does.
Yeah, speaking of the NBA in Europe, I tweeted a while ago the NBA coming back to Manchester, and that got a lot of buzz. I would like to clarify it's not signed yet. They're still choosing whether it will be Manchester or London or a mixture of both, or even another destination in Europe, which I'm not going to tell you guys right now. But yeah, stay tuned because the NBA will be back most likely in the UK in January 2026. So we'll be there. And the NBA Europe League will be coming soon after that. And I'm advocating right now for Mr. Armstrong here to be one of those teachers of the game
Hmm,
here in
hmm.
Europe. We get Mr. Perry as an executive in one of the teams, and it would also mean that we can do the podcast in person and do it
Hmm.
at a reasonable hour. I'm looking forward to it. Mr. Silver, I hope you're listening.